Hello friends, welcome to Notebook Videos. In this video, we shall learn about index numbers and their importance in statistics for economics. You may be surprised to know that index numbers are often termed as economic barometers. Barometers are instruments that measure pressure, economic uncertainties dealing with price and quantity changes are measured by index numbers. Changes in these values create a lot of pressure in the economy in terms of value of goods produced and ultimately affects the GDP of a country. Let's find out how these price indexes vary as price and quantities change over a certain period of time. There's an old man, Subhash Babu, his son Mahesh, and grandson Ronnie, all of whom love to do groceries for the family. Now Subhash Babu has become old, and so he has passed on the prime responsibility of doing groceries to his son Mahesh in the last 10 to 15 years. The last time Subhash had shopped for the family was in 1985, and at that time he had bought 4 important vegetable items: onions, potatoes, brinjals, and cauliflower. Subhash Babu has a regular habit of diary writing, and it's no wonder that he still remembers the last purchases he has made. Total cost of items shopped was Rs 20 as shown here. Mahesh, in his mid-40s, has taken up his father's role for a few years now. According to him, prices are no longer as they used to be. About 10 years ago, the same set of vegetables would cost around Rs 40, and now in year 2020, they cost a lot more, possibly between 80 to 100 rupees. Mahesh reflects on prices in 2010 and 2020 and makes a chart of the same items his father had bought in 1985, but this time with the current prices. Comparison of 1985 prices to 2010 prices indicated that changes in prices were significant. Price of potatoes and onions by 100%, cauliflower by 200%, and brinjal by 75%. Now, how did Mahesh calculate the changed value percentages? Well, by simply calculating the difference of the current year price P1 and base year price P0 divided by P0 for that commodity. If current year was considered to be 2010 and base year as 1985, then the change in prices would be measured as current prices minus base year prices over base year prices, which in case of potatoes has been 100%. Mahesh noticed that change percentages were all very different for each commodity, and with such changes, it would be difficult for him to plan for the future. Now, here came the importance of the indices. Mahesh found out that a price index presents a single numerical measure for all commodities. This thought gave a huge relief to Mahesh. The simple aggregative price index is summation of all current year prices divided by summation of base year prices multiplied by 100. It is indicative of price of current year 1 over base year 0. So we can calculate the price index between 1985 and 2010 by taking summation of the price values in 1985 and 2010. P01 is equal to 40 over 20 into 100 is equal to 200, where base year is equal to 1985 and current year is equal to 2010. Let's now take 2020 as the current year and denote it by year 2 and calculate the same aggregative price index. P02 is equal to 82 over 20 into 100 is equal to 410. So here we see that change percentage values are quite high. High values are attributed to the fact that the simple aggregative index considers only price values and not weighted averages of the commodities in the formulae. Now, Mahesh was happy to understand that prices between 1985 and 2010 had risen by 100%, and by 2020 they had risen by 310%. This form of simple index ignores the importance of the weight of each commodity. The extent to which the price values of a commodity influences the index needs to be weighed for a more precise index number. The weighted index value includes the quantity values in the formula and sums up the product of the price and their quantities. So products of price and quantity values are taken. Let's look at the table again. In the numerator of the formula we have P1, current year prices, Q1, base or current year quantities. The current year quantities are the same as the base year quantities, and hence the denominator would calculate the product of the base year prices with the same set of given quantities as the base year. Summation P1 Q1 is equal to 49. Summation P0 Q1 is equal to 25. Thus, weighted price index is equal to 49 over 25 into 100 is equal to 196. Now, how do we interpret the value of 196? 196 suggests that base year quantities of goods have risen by 96% in 2010. Notice the weighted price index value is widely different from the simple aggregate value. Now, since we are looking at fixed quantity of goods, Mahesh could now appropriately measure the influence of the price change with regard to each commodity. The weights in the basket measure the weighted influence of vegetables in the basket. Since weights do not change, the index measures the changing of aggregate value of goods. There could be a situation where Mahesh needs different quantities of goods in the current year compared to the base year, and therefore the new list of new quantities are tabulated. This time we use the current year quantities in both the numerator and denominator. The definition of Pasha's price index is that it is weighted aggregative price index using current period quantities as weights. So here we have a fresh tabulation of quantities that have changed in the current year. Mahesh now looks at the weighted averages of the values corresponding to current year quantities. Looking at summation values, we have summation P0Q1 is equal to 33. Summation P1 Q1 is equal to 65.2. By formulae, therefore, 65.2 over 33 into 100 is equal to 197.57. So given current year weights, the prices have increased by 97.57%. This is a bit higher than what was deduced in case of last year's price index using base year prices. Hopefully, you have understood the differences between the two kinds of index. An alternative approach is the method of averaging relatives. where P1 over P0 for each commodity is calculated separately. Ratio of P1 over P0 is also referred to as the price relative of the commodity. Let's take a fresh look at the table where prices have changed in the current year in comparison to the base year. So the index may be calculated as equal to quarter 12 over 6 plus 8 over 4 plus 6 over 2 plus 14 over 8, 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1.75, close parenthesis, quarter into 100 is equal to 2.1875 into 100, which is equal to 218.75. If you recollect, my friends, given the price values in the current year, the simple aggregate formula had also indicated an increase of 100% on the base year prices. So, considering price changes only and non-weighted values, the index gives a much higher value. By way of the method of averaging relatives, the index shows a slightly higher value of 280.75, indicating a price rise of 118.75%. The method of averaging relatives could also use weights in the formula. The formula consists of weighted arithmetic mean of the price relatives and can be again calculated with the values mentioned in the old table. Note, we have P0 and P1 values and the quantities given as weights. These quantities are from the base year. Percentage weights are calculated with the help of individual quantity values divided by the total weight equal to 4.5. The table also has a column for the price relative times percentage weight as required in the equation. With this, we calculate the weighted index of price relatives as 44.4 into 200 plus 22.2 into 200 plus 11.1 into 300 plus 22.2 into 175 over 100 is equal to 20,556 over 100, which equals to 205.56. So weighted price index is 205.56, and here prices have risen by 105.6%, in this case over the base year prices. Values of the weighted price index and non-weighted price index seem to clearly vary, and you need to remember all three different kinds of price index that we just discussed along with their differences. Parsh's price index, Laspaire's price index, method of averaging relatives. With this, we come to the end of the session on index numbers. Hope you have enjoyed the session, and we look forward to your continued attention in the second part of the lesson, where we shall be discussing consumer, wholesale, and other different kinds of price indices. Thanks and goodbye.